Everyone has heard of the terms trial by fire and death by PowerPoint as training tools. Both are two distinctly different ways to train people in any job field imaginable. I've been working in the administrative capacity for the last 12 years in the aviation community, working on ships with the U.S. Navy and around the world with private civilian sector jobs. The key to training people properly is to give them the tools they need to succeed up front, then allow them to work under your guidance and allow mistakes to happen. All those small mistakes that are quickly and easily correctable build that person up. They allow for a better understanding of the task at hand, but also how to overcome hurdles and hiccups down the road. Now, there are basically 4 types or genres of training that you can start with. The first one being visual. This is a training that you look and portray to somebody through PowerPoint or through a lecture that has pictures and everything else to describe the exact process or the thing you want done. The second one is verbal. That's specifically telling the person, giving them specific instructions verbally that they write down or whatever the case is to carry out or to use. That one's used a lot in quick instances. Another one is the hands-on training approach. This approach requires the person to actually work well over the shoulder. It kind of combines both visual and verbal, and in the end gives a better result. There's also a fourth that's process learners. That's the one where you specifically explain a process, walk them through that specific process, and there should be no errors. They should be allowed to go from step 1 to step 4. It's basically laid out for them, written instructions, and they follow them. Another one, it's kind of like on the job and on-hands training, but without so much practice up front and running into those mistakes and errors. Training today states that you need to evaluate every employee to determine the best training solutions to each individual, as they will not all be the same. In my time, I've found that some people have a harder time with just visual learning, or they have a harder time with just instructions, and you have to actually show them hands-on, but let them do it. In my opinion, hands-on training has been the best, because I have a bunch of junior people, kids 17, 18, 19 years old that come in that work for me, and they've never done anything before like it in their life, especially with the aviation community. They've seen it, they're interested in it, which is great to get their foot in the door, but they don't understand the process of it. And to get them to break down with certain computer systems that we use to track everything, the logs and records and record keeping that we do in my community to upkeep these aircraft has to be spot on and can't have very many mistakes, if any at all, because in the end result is that you have somebody's life on the line. So I find that the hands-on approach is the best. For some of the things that are ineffective, you can use verbal. You might be able to tell somebody, but if you've ever played that microphone game when you were in kindergarten, where you whisper in somebody's ear and they turn around and whisper to the next person and it goes around the whole circle and comes back, you get 2 different things. I mean, you could start off saying the spaghetti's hot and it comes back that the rigatoni's cold. It's a completely different thing and a completely different response that you get. That's why verbal can get misconstrued as it goes around and as you teaching somebody. Process learning, it's great for a specific item. You might build something up, but at the same time, giving them just those steps to build it up, what if they do run into an issue? What if a machine they're using malfunctions? What if they don't fully understand that specific step and they've done it now 20 times and now you got a bad end result? That's the problem with that. Now, hands-on training, you can make mistakes. The goal is to allow your people to make mistakes. They have to make mistakes to learn. You're there as the backup behind them. I'm not saying sit over their shoulder, hawk them, look down on them, whatever the case is. What I'm saying is help them through the process. They need to be able to start at point A, ask questions if they need to, get your feedback, and put that feedback into the work that they do. Caron Business Solutions explains that hands-on training is the most effective because it requires attentiveness to the process and physical work to finish that process. Basically what that says is they're putting in the work. They're getting the on-the-job training. They're getting the idea that they have to overcome any hurdles that they hit, and they have to think outside that box, because you don't want everybody thinking inside that box. That's not how businesses work. That's not how the best businesses prosper. You have to give them the tools they need and allow them to fail, but then overcome those failures and move on and complete the process. So some of the philosophies that people have for hands-on training, though, is trial by fire. This is basically where you throw somebody into it and they sink or swim, basically is another acronym for it. If you allow somebody to do that, the problem is you can't do that constantly. Now, I believe in trial by fire once the person's ready. Once the person's ready, you can stick them alone, especially for us. We have 3 different shifts we work throughout the day. You stick one person on that shift, they still have that lifeline to call you, but it's sink or swim for them. And most of the time, by the time they're ready for that, you know, and they're pretty confident as well. And confidence is a big key to that too. Death by PowerPoint. I kind of hit on it a little at the beginning of the speech, but this is another one that destroys employees as a whole. Whenever you sit somebody down, you click through and you're just visually reading a PowerPoint to them. While it might give them some key points, normally after about 15-20 minutes, you've lost the person anyway, and there's no point in continuing on with it. It's just an attention thing. Like I said, I deal with a lot of young people. They want, you know, as one of my old mentors used to say, they want the baby, they don't want the pregnancy, okay? They just want to know the end result and get that done. The Lindenberg Group claims that hands-on training leads to a better group cohesion and end results as well. So with hands-on training, it's good to get everybody involved too. Not only one person should be training. If you trained everybody else, you're all on the same page. If you allow your other people, your supervisors, your other workers to assist in training, you get a better end result. Because not only, maybe they answer a question or find an issue that nobody else has seen before. When they do that, everybody learns and continues to learn and continues to grow. And that group cohesion comes together and it becomes a great model for everybody to work off of. Okay. The hand-on approach has basically 3 big keys to it. Okay. The first one, demonstrations. You have to show them what to do. That ties into verbal and visual. Okay, you have to be able to do it yourself. You can't just start explaining it and not have the overall awareness of the end result that you want there. If you start showing them, you run into a hiccup or a hurdle and you don't know how to get over it, they're not going to know either. And you're not going to be able to show them or teach them. And you working through it right there on spot and not knowing the answer gives doubt to that person, and you can't do that. Coaching's a huge part, all right? People get frustrated. People get frustrated easily when they hit a hurdle or a hiccup. You have to be able to coach them through that. Explain to them, hey, it's okay, we got this, we're going to move on, we're going to move forward. You know, everybody gets that error. Let's figure it out. Let's get through it. What would you do first? You know, the coaching part. And then drills. After it's all said and done, what's the best thing you can do? You can walk up to somebody and say, hey, your system's down. What do you do? What's your contingency plan to that? What's your backup? All right, that didn't work. What are you going to try now? Those things, hitting people on the spot like that, again with trial by fire, helps out. It assists in the learning process and it gives them the tools they need to overcome small errors, issues, and hiccups as they go. There are many ways to train an employee. The ultimate goal is to get that trainee to learn and fully explain and understand the tasks that need to be performed in order to complete the task at hand. If you want a robot who only knows how to operate one way, then a specific step-by-step process may work the best. If you want a trainee that can explain, problem solve, and work through issues, then the hands-on approach is the way to go. Even though it will take trying all methods on some individuals, the end result should still be hands-on training. This training will be the most effective and contribute the most to the goals of every company. Thank you.